there's a person there. This is like a, yeah, I never noticed that though. There's actually like a person. Um, Brendan Stowe here, and today we are going to get you set up making your very first Snapchat lens in Snapchat Lens Studio. After you've downloaded Lens Studio on your computer, we're going to open it and press New Project. And in the top left corner, you see Publish Lens, Project Info, and it says 0.04 megabytes. It can't be over 8. So, when you're finished making the lens, that's when you press these buttons. Okay, to the right of that, this stuff up here, these are little tools that you can use. We're going to skip the rest of that stuff, and we're going to go all the way to the right of the screen. You see My Lenses and Send a Snapchat. So, when you want to test the lens, you can either send it to Snapchat, and you can also preview the lens in Lens Studio. I was doing a voiceover, and now I'm here, like I'm with the mouse. So, right here, we left off right here, and now we're going to talk about this. Well, more to show you what it does. So, this is the scene, and you can change it. There's different ways to visualize the data, pretty much. Like, we're going to get into it. So, easiest way to understand what's going on with the data is with this preview thing. So, if you press this plus button, this is the objects button. You can add some objects, right? Let's talk about the difference between this thing and this thing. So we have this objects panel and the resource panel. So everything in, you can imagine this is like your toolbox and this is the project. So, well, not quite, but kind of. This is stuff that you could use in the project, but it might not be included. Like, you can basically, it loads into this first, and then you can use it. And this is what's actually going on here. And this has like very little to do with what's going on right here. Well, yeah, let's just keep going. So let's just, this is a good way to like start to understand what's going on. I just added this box to the scene. So the box is here. And this is what I was talking about earlier, like these tools. This is what they do. If I want to move the box, I use the move tool, and those are pretty self-explanatory. So this whole thing is kind of like a customizable, and I don't know how mine started to look different all of a sudden. I don't know how to restore it to the regular, but this up here is important because similar with other computer softwares, you know that sometimes like you can lose a panel, and if you don't know how to like restore it, then like you feel like you can't do anything. But so this, you can add things. So important one, the inspector. So this tells you about what you're pressing on, the position of the lighting. You can change it. So let's go to this box, right? Right here. So this is called a scene object, right? And then we're just saying the name of the scene object is box. And then down here, right? So that's where you put your 3D model. And below that we're saying it's a default material, and you can change that. Let's say we want to change the way that the box looks. Like, we don't want it to be gray. We're going to go down here, scroll down here, and we can see all these. These are different types of prefabricated materials. And we're going to press this one, because this one is a good one to know. This is called a simple PBR. And that is how you see the reflection on the cube. Because this is like, you see those palm trees right there? So, I figured this out. you can change that picture. This is where that picture lives. In here. Where is it? Oh, see, I always click on it and my inspector is lost. So I have to pull up the inspector again. So see, this picture is the palm tree picture. And this picture is like another lighting picture. But I'm just explaining my understanding of the software. Like, I'm not an expert, but like I know my way around almost. But I'm trying to become an expert, and this channel is like a good way, because teaching is the best way to learn, I've heard anyway. Yeah, so the palm trees. Okay, yeah, we're editing this, right? Bring back our inspector. And let's figure this out right now. You can snap. I know it can snap. Like, can I snap it to the side? Okay, there it goes. Okay, so yeah, see, now it's like a customize. I can move anything, like, so you can customize this any way you want. So this is the texture and this is the color. And the cool thing about this PBR thing is like, it's so simple to make it like look metal. And so the reason we're changing that, but the cube isn't changing, that's because we need to go back, like, okay. In the objects panel, you're gonna go to the box, and then on the inspector, this is where we want to change it. We change it to that one we just made, and now it's like metal. So now we can really see the picture. There's a person there. This is like a, yeah, I never noticed that though. There's actually like a person. We can also make it, if we go back to our resources and we press on that material and go to the inspector, we can make it look like rough. And you can just do this. And then another way to change the way it looks is you can add a texture to it. And with this plus button, you can either choose a texture from your files, or look at all these. These are all like different textures that it already knows, right? So like this one, the media picker, like that's from your camera roll, and the media picker is an image or a video, and the image picker is just an image, and then this detects the faces on your camera roll, and then it gives you, like, if you've ever seen a lens, it's like put your friend's face on this, like that's what you use for that. There's a mesh and there's a material, right? So now let's look at the different types of like prefabricated meshes. And the reason I'm starting with a blank project, there's templates, right? But if you understand how it works before you look at the template, then you can like learn for yourself. Like, once you understand how it works, then you can like look at what somebody else did and like just like get the logic of it. If we press the plus sign on the objects panel, we get some interesting things. There's a lot here, but we're not going to go over all of it, but we're going to like just look at a few things. Let's start with these things. So let's see what this face mesh does. So, and this will be a good, I don't want to make this video crazy long, so we're going to do this face mesh, and then we're going to go over how you would publish this with what you know, like from the materials and stuff. And we're going to talk about one more thing. When I first started using this, I kept always pressing it like this, sending it to Snapchat. And unless you're doing, some lenses, they have to be on the phone, like the physics simulations and the LiDAR lenses, those are rear facing camera only. But if you're doing a face mesh, you can do this. We want the preview. So look, here I am, and so I can't detect my face right now. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so here I am, and I'm wearing that. Like, it was literally, I just clicked a button, and so that's what I mean, a lot of the work is done for you. But what if I want to change this? Like, what if I changed it to that metal we made? Well, I think we kind of changed the metal back to the way it was. The objects. There they go. No, we want the resources, not the objects. So here's the thing, and there's the inspector. Let's make it metal. Yeah, okay, so say this is your lens, and like, you could technically publish this lens, it's just like kind of a little bit unoriginal. Like, it's just a little too easy, right? But the thing is, like, what we're gonna keep learning about on this channel is like you can add other elements. And you see, and let's go over one more thing before we wrap this up. The way this is organized, this is like the most important part, like to understand what's going on. You see how one is underneath another, which is underneath another, underneath another? It's called like a hierarchical organization. Let me get rid of this cube. But I'm about to show you something with the cube. You see how the cube is just there, like, but it's not like, it's just there, right? Because it's not like attached to the head binding. But if we were to, it's called making it a daughter, or this is the parent object, right? So now what's happening is this is underneath that, and now it's tracking to that. And say we do this, right? So now now say we do something to the face mesh, right? So it's going with it. So if you want them to move independently, they have to be like independent, because when it has the relationship of a parent, it's pretty much saying it moves relative to this, whichever way you move it. Press Command Z to undo. So say this is our effect, right? And we want to publish it, right? We have to first, we're going to go here and make a lens preview. And you can make your own lens preview, or you can use one of these, right? So these are just, you can use them. And then we're going to title it, it'd be like metal face or something. And you can add a hint if you want. So, you know, when there's a lens and it says like open mouth, and then it does something. So we're going to talk about different things you can do with that. Like, it says smile, or like, I don't know. Yeah. And then the last thing we're going to go over in this video is the asset library. This is like the best thing ever. There's so many things in here. And so that gold thing, that's a simple PBR. Like, since I just taught you guys pretty much how to make that, like, now you guys know how to make this. You do the simple PBR, you change it to yellow, and then you turn the metallic up. Everything in here can be made, but all this stuff is like already made. So it's like and there's lots of really cool stuff. What I'm gonna be trying to learn is like how to design this stuff, like, and that is actually really awesome. I mean, what I meant by like there's different ways to visualize the data is like, this is all data, right? And then like you can look at the data through the scene, or you can look at it through this. This is like another visualization of the data. And then like the simplest visualization of the data, which is actually the hardest to understand, would be like the smallest building blocks, like the actual code and stuff. I mean, but I mean, now you know like a good amount about like this software, and you can start to just explore it on your own. And what I would do after knowing this stuff is, now that you know this stuff, just go into these things, right? Whatever you want to learn, like, just go into it, right? And then just start looking at that stuff, and just start trying to understand, like, why is it working the way it's working. So I'll see you guys next video. We're going to do another lens tutorial. We'll just see how it goes. So I'll see you guys next time.